Hello, and welcome to Demon Interviews, episode 156. I'm your host, shockingly, Springy, and joining us today is a very special guest.
Ardyn, otherwise known as depictions of fiction.
Woo! So, how are you doing today?
I'm very good. How are you doing?
Oh, it's late, so it's getting my brain a little messed up, but I'm good. I'm good. Uh, have you ever been interviewed like this before?
I can't say that I have. Would be the first time.
Well, we are happy to introduce you to the world of interviewing. Infographic and output. Um, so people can assume from the thumbnail picture and all that fun stuff, and from past guests that you are a cosplayer.
Yes, I am.
Is there any other new cosplays you have planned to do that you're able to tell us about without me giving you a small fee of $5?
uh, well, the next cosplay I have planned up is hopefully I get it done for Halloween. Is Alice from Alice Madness Returns, the video game.
Oh,
It's definitely a favorite of mine, so I want to hope and get that done because I love having a good lineup for the week of Halloween. I do a whole week of cosplays on all of my pages.
oh, awesome. Well, I am excited to see it since we're recording this in middle of September.
Yeah.
And don't forget to go check that out and all that fun stuff. So yeah. Um, So on the interwebs, you go by depictions of fiction.
Yes.
Yay! I said it correctly without me having to look. Well, why did you choose that handle, username, so on and so forth, instead of something else?
I wanted something that was really catchy and like would be easy to remember, so that's why I kind of wanted it to rhyme.
Yeah.
So, and then depictions of fiction would be just because my cosplays are depictions of all kinds of fiction, and I do cosplay from multiple different kinds of fiction, like books and movies and anime and video games and comics, the whole nine yards, because I'm into so many different fandoms of all different kinds of mediums.
Awesome. Hey, I mean, and for once, I remembered without having to look. So obviously, the
Right?
goal was
Yeah,
achieved.
it's
The
doing its
goal.
job.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, do next question. Very hard hitting, very important question that everyone wants to know. Very personal. Um, would you rather eat Cheetos or go on a hike?
That's the Cheetos for me.
Mm, completely understandable. Um, so now I have to say the stereotypical YouTube thing of don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell icon. If you have any questions for our lovely guest here, put them in the comment section below. And if you ever come back onto the show, we'll ask them your questions. And don't forget to follow them on all the social media platforms. There'll be a way to get to all of them in the description below. Nailed it. Even a little tired, I can still do it. Okay. Um. Next up is going to be, what is one of the hardest things about getting into one of your cosplays?
um, Remembering all the pieces. A lot of times I'll forget like a belt or like the earrings or like I'll forget something in my makeup routine. It's just making sure you have it all down to pat and remembering all your props and everything that you do to get ready for it, especially at a con when
Mm-hmm.
it's all crazy and like you're thinking about a million things.
Yeah, that makes complete sense to me. I mean, I can, I get told if I didn't have my head on my shoulders, I would lose it all the time.
Yeah, right.
Uh, so next up is going to be coming from a past guest, a Mr. Zoom underscore 2028. Bacon question mark.
Bacon? No, I'm good.
Okay, awesome, awesome. Next up, come from the same past guest, an even longer and more personal and complicated question. Peanut butter question mark.
Yes. Peanut butter's a yes.
Awesome. And just get all the food questions out of the way. The next one's coming from a different past guest. I know it's shocking, but it's coming from an ultra geek cosplay. Pepsi or Coke or
Oh,
neither. I mean,
that's the question of the century, but I gotta go with both. Like I'm a both. I love them both.
yeah, that's the secret fourth answer. I mean, some people say one, some people say the other. Then there's neither. Then there's both. I mean, then there's yeah. Secret fourth answer is always the best answer.
Right?
Um, because I completely agree with it. Um, so you mentioned that you have gone to conventions before.
hmm
Um, how many different conventions have you gone to in the past?
I've been to a few different ones, mostly local cons around the area where I live over in California. The one that I frequent the most is for sure going to be SAC Anime. I'm there every year, and it goes twice a year. I'm always there.
Awesome,
Yeah,
awesome.
I was just there a couple weeks ago. It was really fun. It was a good time. Glad to be back into it. You know.
Yeah, we're getting back into the groove of things, which is good.
Yeah.
Which is good. Well, what is the next con that you're hoping to attend to in the near safe future?
Probably SAC Anime again in the winter. It'll be SAC Winter over in January.
Hmm.
Yeah.
For once, a
That's
convention when sorry, uh,
yeah.
so so for once a convention that people will watch the episode and then they might be able to go see you. Because
Right, yeah.
it's
Yeah,
rare.
SAC yeah, SAC Winter I believe is January the weekend of January 7th, if I recall.
Ooh, awesome, awesome. Hopefully, by the time it comes out, they'll still have enough time to get it and everything.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, what is one of your favorite convention memories?
Um One of my favorite was probably SAC Anime Winter 2020. I was dressed up as Nero from Devil May Cry, and my cosplay partner was dressed up as Dante from Devil May Cry, and we got to go off together and do photo ops and do meetups with the actors for Dante and Nero, Ruben Langdon and Johnny Young Bosch. And that was super cool doing the photo op with them, just meeting them in full costume. Like they were the whole reason we got those together in the first place, and they were super sweet, and it was just a really fun and cool experience.
Awesome, awesome. uh, that's always the dream. Being able to go meet the voice actors while you're dressed up as their character that they're
Exactly.
known as.
Right? Yeah, it's one of my favorite things to do. It's so fun to be able to do that, and they get so excited, and it just makes everything like more like I don't know, it just kind of really breaks the ice too when you're about
Yeah,
to meet an actor.
yeah, completely. That makes a lot of sense. Um, Next up is going to be coming from another past guest, a Harley F. Quinn. What are those?
Who are those?
A better question: why are those?
Where are those?
Who are those? I think that's all of them. How
Hints.
are those? Um, Next up is going to be who is your biggest cosplay inspiration or inspirations?
Wow, that's tough. There's a lot of cosplayers that I've been following for a long time. Um, a lot of my close friends that have been cosplaying are huge inspirations to me. I love seeing the people around me just do all these amazing cosplays and being able to actually like I know that person. Like I know them in real life. Like look how cool they are. Like that's always a great time. Um like there's a person uh on Instagram and on a few other social medias. Her name I think is Ashley Ulamenko or Ulaneko or something like that. I can't remember for the life of me how to say it. But She's been cosplaying for a long time. She's a huge inspiration because she cosplays from a ton of different things that like a ton of different fandoms that I'm into.
Hmm.
Very talented and like she recently followed me back on TikTok, so like
Yeah.
that was great. But honestly the biggest inspiration for me in cosplay is probably my sister who is my cosplay partner. Um her username is Thin Mint, and she is literally one of the best cosplayers I've ever had the pleasure of knowing in my whole life. Like we started cosplaying around the same time, and just watching her progression and watching her grow and like her skills is it's inspiring, and it makes me want to be better all the time.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, next up, well, actually going through these a little, we're going through them real quickly. So, similar type of question. But who from TikTok, Instagram, so on and so forth, other social media platforms, would you like to do a collaboration with in real life? You know, doing a video, photo shoot, so on and so forth.
Goodness, there's so many, but you know what? Mostly just all the people that I'm like mutuals with, like all my friends that I make online that like live
Mhm.
a million miles away, all of them, I wish I could meet up with them and do cons. Like I swear everybody that I meet is always an East Coast cosplayer and I'm over on the West.
Same.
That's always how that works out. I'm over here in California and everybody's like in Florida and shit.
Same. It's nuts. Like I should make a graph sometime, being like, where's everybody from, or like what
Right?
area. And I feel like East Coast would be way larger.
Yeah, I would just I would love to meet up with some people over on this side cuz like and like we have pretty huge cons over in California too cuz
Yeah,
we've got like Anime X and Fanime and all that kind of thing. I would love to just meet up with any of the people that I'm actually friends with online
yeah,
just to cosplay together.
awesome. Well, the next question, it might go into the same realm of what we've been talking about.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a friend or a fan or anyone like that ever suggest to you a cosplay and you actually went out and made it or bought it or whatever you wish to do with it?
There's a couple cosplays not necessarily like suggested but like that I've seen online somebody do and like I'm thinking I should cosplay from that too so we could like do some things together.
Mhm.
And like vice versa, like I've inspired some people to do cosplays too based on the ones that I've done and that's always super fun. Like I get really excited and it'll always be something that like I do really fast cuz like inspirational hit.
Mhm.
Like there's a user on TikTok and Instagram known as Sailor Moon Turtle and she did a cosplay of Virgil Hawkins Static Shock. And I got so excited that like within less than 2 weeks time I put together a Richie Foley gear cosplay just to like do some videos with hers on TikTok and that was super fun.
Oh, I 100% understand that. 100%. Uh I've made I've done those types of things before. I'm literally looking at the one I'm currently obsessed with right now. Uh uh but is the content that you create that gets the most attention the ones that you enjoyed making the most, or is it the ones that surprise you?
Um for sure it's always the ones that surprise me. Um the the ones that really get a lot of good traction, like especially like right now, like my kakyoin got a lot more attention than I thought it would, which was
Mhm.
really surprising, and I was really happy about it. Um, but like honestly, all of my JoJo content does pretty well for the most part, which is super cool. The JoJo fandom is they're very kind people.
Hmm.
Um,
Awesome.
yeah, and then also whenever I decide to do anything like My Hero Academia related, obviously that does really well too.
Yeah.
But it's not necessarily the ones that I work the hardest on though, I'll say. Um it's always ironically that the ones that I work really really hard on is the stuff that never gets seen.
Completely understand that. 100%. Um, what is one of the best compliments you've ever gotten, either in real life or online?
For sure, in my Dobby cosplay, I do 3 hours worth of latex makeup on my face and my neck, and my favorite compliments are always, "Oh my God, your makeup's so cool," or like when or sometimes a lot of people will ask, "Oh hey, can I touch it? Because it looks pretty gnarly and it's texturized crazy," and that's like the only time when I'm like, "Oh yes, please touch my face," and I love that. And everybody's like, "Oh ew, that feels so gross," and I'm like, "Right."
That's always fun, I bet.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's probably my favorite.
Awesome. Well, speaking of your favorites,
Oh,
this might be a hard question, but who is your favorite character to cosplay as?
that's so hard. That literally is such a hard question because I feel like the answer changes all the time.
Mm,
Like I do love cosplaying Nero though from Devil May Cry. Right now that is definitely a huge favorite.
hmm
It's a little bit more underappreciated than most, but it's one of my favorite games, one of my favorite characters. I love the way that I look and the way that it makes me feel. I've got a lot of cool props for him. So that one's really high up there, but I also really love cosplaying Kakyoin from JoJo's or uh, Cinder from Ruby is definitely a favorite because there's a lot of emotional ties to that cosplay in particular. But and then of course there's classic for me because I have 5 different versions of Harley Quinn that I cosplay. So Harley's always a fave for me. So probably within the realm of those.
Yeah,
That's like about the best answer I can give.
that makes sense to me. I mean, it's hard. It's hard to pick your
It's
favorite.
so hard.
It's like picking kids.
It
It's
is.
like
It really is.
I don't want to say it in front of them.
Right? Like
Shh.
don't look at me like
Just
don't
look
tell
down.
them.
Eh, don't tell the 5 Harleys. I can't tell them apart anymore. Yeah. Um, but uh, next is going to be have you ever no, we kind of already went over that. Never mind. So, it was a different question, but we already went over it. So, bleh. How are you and some of your characters you cosplay alike, and how are you different?
I'm pretty well known for cosplaying a lot of villains. Um, that's a really a go-to for me. I love villains
Mm,
and just in media in general. But there are a few characters that I cosplay that are really, kind of like-minded in the way that I act. But like for sure, I feel very connected emotionally to Harley Quinn.
mm,
Like just her story in general of being able to overcome and having like two like symbolic transformations in her life. Like I feel like that resonates with me very deeply, which is why I cosplay her so often.
mm,
Um and then there is characters like Kakyoin and like Nero who I feel are very similar to myself in personality. But I usually do go for the villains because it lets me kind of blow off like a lot of aggression. Like I get to kind of just have some kind of wicked fun that I normally, wouldn't get to have otherwise.
mm,
But yeah, I don't typically cosplay 100% characters that are like me though. It is usually just the characters that I really love and fixate on when I'm into something.
mm. Yeah, I completely understand the first the hyperfixation because I'm literally building a cosplay of Spite right now. Purely, I'm running on Spite, but and also I always love like the fan arts or stuff like that where it's like they take a hero character and they make them evil in one way or another.
Yeah.
Like the Venomized series and stuff like that.
Right.
One of the cosplays I'm working on is actually Grim Jean, so I'm excited to finish him.
Well,
I'm
that's
almost done with
fun.
him. I'm almost done with him, and I'm excited. Just need to learn how to get more pale. If I could just like draw all the blood on my face without putting on makeup, I would. Uh, just go numb and just
At
pass
least for
out.
5 minutes, right?
Exactly. Or 15 seconds is long enough. Just hold your breath
Right.
for long enough, and um, but yeah, Ironically, Grimjean's also the one I'm making out of spite. But I don't care. I love him, and anywho, um, what is one thing you want people to know about the characters you cosplay as? I guess it kind of goes into the same question as before, but
Well, never get too comfortable confusing person for cosplay.
mm,
You know, sometimes people get a little bit too comfortable because they feel really like they know the character, so they think that I'm going to be similar, or they think like they'll assume things about my personality
mm-hmm,
or about the way that I am, which, again, like I don't always cosplay people who are close to my personality. Like honestly, like I said, I do see myself a lot in Harley Quinn, but she's really loud and really extroverted and very outgoing. I'm a little bit more reserved and introverted. So
mm-hmm,
there's where that kind of comes in. And sometimes I'll kind of play it up at a con, kind of get into character, but never too much though. Like if I am cosplaying a villain, I'm not going to be a dick to you. You know what I mean?
yeah, 100%.
Like like I'll be walking around menacing, resting bitch face, full Dobby, the coat swaying, the scars, everything, and like all of a sudden I'll see like the most adorable like Ida cosplay. I'm like, oh my god, I love your cosplay, and like automatically the
It's just like
vision's
off.
broken. It's gone. Like I try to seem like 100% approachable no matter what I'm in,
Yeah,
especially at a convention where I'm trying to be cool and make friends and hang out.
yeah, 100% makes sense to me. 100%. Um, and with that, we're done with the questions on my list. Shocking, there's more. I know. It's just not slam the computer when I turn off my phone, so I can because that's where my questions were. Um, so first of all, do you have any questions, comments, or concerns for me as an individual or about the show in general? Ah.
I am actually curious why approach me for an interview? I'm like what was the appeal?
Well, a lot of ow, I had my leg in one spot for too long and now it's hurting. A lot of the time, this is just like the general how I find people is that first I see a cosplay that I know the character of, but
Right.
then I'm like, okay, I have to actually see more and not just be like you for this one and that's it. Kind of like what you were talking about, like that's not what you need to do. So I low key kind of like internet stalk and like see other things, like not like
Right.
I'm
Like,
not
well, I mean, that's what it's all up there for.
exactly. And then I just look through, and then like I see some characters I don't know, but also like look amazing, because like there are characters I just don't know about because
Right.
like
Not
the only
everybody can be into everything.
exactly. Like literally, I think the only animes I'm into are like Ruby and Pokemon, and I know people will crucify me for saying that, but that I'm sorry. That
Hey,
that
you like what you like. It is what it is.
exactly like yeah, because like I can name off 20,000 characters that a lot of people don't know, and trust me, I know because those views are telling me what they know and what they don't. Um,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, but yeah, most of the time it's just, or sometimes we get suggestions from other people. A lot of the time a lot of the time it's like what I said. I find something, I find someone, and I enjoy their content a lot, and then I interview them and all that fun stuff.
Hmm.
Try not to do the accounts where it's like I'm just this one character only, and you can only approach me as such. I'm like, sorry, no. Like like the ones on the TikTok, being like I'm only Pennywise and only think I'm this one, and or like Willy Wonka. And it's like
I know what you're talking about. But like,
chill.
hey, if people
More
have this
power to
one
them.
cosplay, people got to start somewhere. Like sometimes
Exactly.
people just, cosplay what you know. So
Yeah.
I take it you found me though from Cinder.
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
from the from the guessings, but yeah. And more power to everybody doing everything with cosplay. I'm not trying to say that. I'm just saying I will look for others, so it's not just the one. Because like that would not be fair of me to just be like, hey, I really like this one character and only this character. I don't care about anything else. This one only. You know,
Right.
you have to. And I enjoyed more than just Cinder, obviously. Uh, yeah, even if I don't know the characters, they all look cool and it looks awesome. So I,
Thank you.
yeah, of course. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much it. To be honest, I know it sounds very broad strokes, but that's how that goes. That's just
Well,
how that goes.
I was just kind of curious, you know,
Yeah,
because again, I've never been approached for things like this before, and I was just kind of wondering.
yeah, of course.
Mhm.
Is there anything else you want to ask about anything?
um, no, I think I'm pretty okay. I think I'm good.
Awesome, awesome. Well, next up, we're going to go on to the final three questions. I don't
Okay.
think. First of all, would you ever like to come back to the show in the future?
Absolutely. I definitely would.
Awesome, because you're already planning for 18 more things. Um, so next up is who would you like to see on the show in the future?
Um, Hard to say. Like honestly, just I follow so many cosplayers. Literally, pretty much all of my follow lists everywhere that I'm at is all cosplayers, and there's so many of them.
Mm,
Literally, probably anybody that I follow being on here would be super cool, you know, because
yeah,
I love getting to know people no matter what in like any kind of setting, and just hearing them kind of answer these questions too would be really interesting, I think.
yeah, awesome. Well, speaking of the questions, do you have any questions for a future guest?
What is the most useful cosplay tip that you have ever accumulated in your years of knowledge?
That's a good one.
Yeah, I think that's a good question for cosplayers to answer. It's a great way for other cosplayers who are just starting out or otherwise just to hear good things, you know, from people who are experienced with it and all that.
Yeah, 100%. I know one that like I kind of just stumbled upon from like getting commissions and stuff is that the when you're dealing with zippers on foam, I personally would recommend if you're making it or if you want to modify the thing you bought. I mean, go more power to you. Uh, to put a piece like a thin piece of foam on the other side of the zipper, uh, like where it's connected, so then it's less likely to just rip right off or rip through or stuff like that. Because I had that with one of my commissioned Jean gauntlets. Like the zipper just came off, like it was so off that it almost came, like the zipper almost did not need to be there. It was so like it was like almost completely off.
Right.
I contacted the person because it came that way. I was like, I didn't do anything, I promise. And like they told me how to fix it and everything. And now
Right.
I use that same tactic of contact cement and stuff like that to make the Grim Jean stuff. So
Mhm. Right, and that
eh,
is helpful. Like that's something that can help you avoid potential disaster.
yes, 100%. Because like I had to re-glue it, and I was like, I don't know how to do this. Uh, but and I learned the trick of putting like a small piece of foam from ironic because I got my sword and shield from somebody else. Um, very expensive, but they're very awesome. On the shield, like the straps, they're held down with another piece of foam over it, over like each side of them.
Uh-huh.
So it's like they're stuck there, and I just kind of took both ideas and shoved them into gauntlets and the leg.
So it
So
all worked out.
yeah, all worked out, 100%. Um, but yeah. So with that, um, but yeah, with that we are done.
Right. Cool.
So thank you so much for. I'm looking this way and that way at the same time because technically on my screen you're over there, and it's crazy. Life is weird. Uh, thank you so much for being on the show. I do highly appreciate it.
You're welcome. Happy to be here. It was a good time.
Well, I am so happy to hear that. And thank you all for watching. Again, don't forget to do a stereotypical YouTube thing. That does help. Um, and don't forget to follow lovely guests on all the social media platforms. There'll be a way to get to all of them in the description below. And at least I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.